There comes a point in life that does not look like falling apart. It does not look like sadness or chaos or tears on the bathroom floor. It looks like nothing. It sounds like silence. The kind that hums faintly in your chest when everything else has gone quiet. You wake up and the world has turned grayscale. Not tragic, not unbearable, just muted. Coffee tastes the same. The songs that once cracked your heart open now pass through you like wind through glass. You laugh at the right time, say the right words, go through the right motions, and if anyone asks, you say you are fine, because technically you are. But deep down there is a quiet knowing. Something is missing, something used to live inside you, vivid, responsive, alive, and now it is gone. That, right there, is emotional numbness. It is not sadness. It is the absence of everything. It is the stillness that arrives after too many storms. It is the brain's way of saying, enough. When the system has carried too much for too long, it shuts itself down, like a fuse that cuts the power, not to punish, but to protect. Because even the strongest circuits can overheat. And yet, the same wall that shields you from pain also blocks the light. The fortress that keeps you safe becomes the place where nothing grows. You stop breaking, but you stop blooming too. Someone once described it perfectly. They said, "It is not that I do not want to feel, it is that I forgot how." And that is what makes numbness so cruel. It is not about losing happiness, it is about losing aliveness. If you have ever felt that gray silence stretch across your days, you are not defective. You are in survival mode. The mind, remarkable in its complexity, is always trying to protect you. When emotions become too heavy, it quietly turns down the volume. It believes it is helping. It believes you have suffered enough. But when the volume stays low for too long, the music of life fades. Passion, empathy, tenderness, all of it becomes distant. You begin to function, but not to live. Psychologists call this emotional blunting. It often follows trauma, chronic stress, or exhaustion that went unacknowledged for too long. You would never notice it from the outside. The calmest people, the ones who always seem composed, are often the ones who have shut down the deepest. They learned that emotions made them vulnerable. So they built a fortress, then confused the quiet inside with peace. But numbness is not peace. It is silent pain wearing a disguise. For many, it creeps in unnoticed. It starts with small things. The hobbies you used to love no longer spark joy. A sad movie leaves you dry-eyed, not because you are strong, but because the faucet of feeling has rusted shut. You tell yourself you do not care anymore, but the truth is, you are too tired to. That phrase, "I do not care," is not indifference. It is emotional fatigue. To reach that point, though, you must face a truth. Numbness is not the absence of emotion. It is emotion locked away. Everything you suppress waits patiently to be felt again. When you stop running from what hurts, you begin to remember who you were before you started building walls. Emotional numbness is not a flaw. It is a scar, a mark left by invisible battles. And if you peel it back gently, beneath it you will often find a deep, tender sensitivity. The kind of sensitivity that once noticed everything. The tone in someone's voice, the shift in their eyes, the silence between words. Those who feel numb now were often the ones who once felt everything. They are not cold. They are hiding. And maybe that is the paradox. Numbness is not the opposite of feeling. It is the memory of feeling too much. The very sensitivity that made you capable of love also made you vulnerable to pain. So you retreated, not forever, just until it felt safe again. But time alone does not heal numbness, because numbness is not a wound, it is a defense. And defenses soften not through time, but through trust. You cannot schedule healing, you rebuild it moment by moment, through experiences that whisper to your nervous system. You are safe now. That is what most people misunderstand. Emotionally numb people are not heartless, they are scared. Scared of the floodgates opening. Scared of feeling everything all at once after years of feeling nothing. You cannot force someone to feel again. You can only offer them safety, because numbness does not dissolve in confrontation. It melts in gentleness. If you have been living behind that quiet wall, Hear this. You are not weak. You did what you had to do to protect yourself. You found a way to survive. But survival is not the end of your story. The part of you that once laughed too loudly, cried too easily, and loved too deeply still lives inside you. It has been waiting for you to knock. The first knock may be small, a whisper that says, "I miss feeling alive." That is where it begins. People often believe that numbness fades when life improves, when the job stabilizes, the heartbreak heals, the noise quiets down. But numbness rarely leaves with the chaos. It lingers in the silence that follows. Because it is not the storm that breaks you, it is the aftermath, when everything finally calms and you realize you have no energy left to rejoice. Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. It keeps scanning for danger long after the danger has passed. That is what emotional numbness truly is, a body still bracing for impact. You are not empty, you are guarded. You are not broken, you are exhausted from surviving. Psychologists call this emotional avoidance. When the mind equates feeling with pain, it begins to disconnect in advance. You laugh when you should, you nod at the right moments, but inside it feels like performance, not participation. You start acting alive instead of being alive. And somewhere along the way, you start to believe, maybe this is just who I am now. But it is not. It is who you became to survive. Most numbness hides a long history of emotional overwhelm. Years of responsibility, overstimulation, heartbreak that had nowhere to go. Many who feel numb grew up believing that emotions were dangerous or shameful. Maybe they were told, "Stop crying," or "Be strong." Maybe they learned that showing fear only made things worse. So the body muted what it could not express. And in that muting, it did not betray you. It protected you the only way it knew how. But now, as the storm passes, your body is waiting for permission to feel again. Healing begins with noticing. Noticing the tiny moments when you shut down. The song that almost makes you cry. The memory that flickers before you push it away. Those are not threats, they are invitations. Recovery is not about chasing intense emotions. It is about rebuilding safety, slowly. That is why mindfulness, therapy, and grounding exercises are powerful. They do not demand feeling, they cultivate trust. They teach your nervous system that you can survive emotion. Because numbness is the body's way of saying, "I do not trust that I can handle another heartbreak." Healing is the process of gently proving that you can, and it is never linear. Some days you will feel sparks of joy. Other days you will go quiet again. Both are progress, because numbness does not vanish in a single breakthrough. It softens gradually in small moments of honesty, connection, and truth. The first genuine laugh that surprises you. The first tear that does not scare you. The first time someone asks, "How are you?" and you answer honestly. Each of these is a crack of light in the wall. Numbness wears many masks: irritability, apathy, distraction, perfectionism. For some, it is control. For others, withdrawal. But underneath all of it lies the same plea: I just want to feel safe. That is where real healing begins. Not in fixing yourself, but in learning to treat yourself gently. Because numbness does not melt under intensity, it dissolves in consistency. It is built in the smallest acts of presence, taking a walk without distraction, letting music play all the way through, sitting with the sunset without reaching for your phone. Simple things. But simple things remind your mind that it is allowed to exist without defense. Slowly, the world begins to regain texture. Light feels warmer. Laughter sounds fuller. Even pain feels more human than emptiness ever did. And that is the miracle of healing. It is not about being happy. It is about being real. The goal is not constant joy. It is emotional honesty, the ability to sit with whatever arises, grief, hope, confusion, tenderness, without labeling any of it as wrong. That is what emotional maturity truly means. So if you have lived numb for too long, maybe healing does not mean going back. Maybe it means becoming someone who can hold more of life, its beauty, its mess, its depth, without needing to shut down. Because your feelings never disappeared. They have been waiting beneath the armor, beneath the noise, beneath the years of pretending you did not care. And perhaps this time, You can let yourself be uncertain, clumsy, unfinished, but real. Because numbness feeds on suppression, but authenticity, honest, unpolished truth, melts it away. That is the strange and gentle paradox of healing. The moment you stop trying so hard to feel, the feelings start to return. Not as floods that drown you, but as rivers that carry you home. And one day, quietly, you will notice that the world no longer feels distant, that laughter does not feel borrowed, that your reflection looks familiar again. And in that moment, you will understand. The numbness did not leave you, you outgrew it. Because somewhere along the way, you stopped needing protection from your own heart, and you finally realized that to feel deeply is not your weakness. It is your proof that you are still beautifully, painfully, gloriously alive.